Hello everyone. I'm Ricardo. Am I talking to you with the microphone? Is this good? Okay, okay. I'm going to be talking about WebGL, WebGPU, and how we're transitioning the library like Three.js from one to the other one, like in the community. Just to get an idea, like how many of you have ever used Three.js? If you can raise your hand. Okay. This is quite obvious. So, as a quick introduction to people that is not aware of it, it's a library that I've been working, well, with the community we've been working on for 14 years now. We have like around almost 2,000 contributors on GitHub. This is a little bit like how, I guess that doesn't work, but this is a little bit how the visualization of the last 14 years, where at the beginning there were like mostly like 2 main contributors, but like over the years it's like, you know, every little dot is a contributor basically. So you can see there's been quite a lot of activity in general, and it's in a way it's like pretty like community driven, like people that find issues with it, they can go directly and fix the issue instead of like depending on what fix on it. The website is there. This is still one of my favorite websites. That's from an agency in Japan. I don't know because the screen is a little bit small. Oh, there you go. So, in a way, it's a little bit like what people used to do. Like most of the people that use it, like tend to use it for like the kind of website that we used to see like 10 years ago with Flash. Some people also use it for gaming. Like this is like for creating like games, online games, or like also visualizations, stuff like that. So like this is a good example of kind of things that you could, it enables to what it comes to the kind of website that you can do with it. If you don't do JavaScript directly, but you are like more into like component-based development, I guess, which is like if you have like if you use React, you have React Fiber, which they have like pretty good set of documentation, a good set of like examples. Here's the internet a bit slow. You have like a bunch of examples here, and in every example you can go on it and open the code sandbox. I think you do need an account for modifying, but I think this is a bit up. The app is there, so like really Fiber like makes an interesting abstraction, like kind of HTML based on top of like 3.js. So all what we used to have like what we have in JavaScript in 3.js is like a scene graph that is all like JavaScript based. Like here they make it all like as if it was like HTML elements that you can like move things around and everything's like pretty composable. So like this is for example, like this is the scene itself. Like here you can like interact with the scene, like select things, like and out of these, like you have basically this is the main scene, and then you also have like another like you have an effects on top of it, so you can have like some blur on top of it. Like so the scene, for instance, it will go to this one, and here you can see all the elements there on the scene. So everything you've done any React probably is very familiar to you. What's this for? Taking some time. There you go. If you use Vue.js, there is also Trace.js. Similar thing. You have to go to the website and have a lot of like examples of how the code will look like. It's all. I don't have much experience using these frameworks, so to me it looks pretty much the same. Same thing like with Svelte. To my knowledge, this is the best supported like frameworks on top of for those React Vue and stuff. So kind of like giving an extra background to the project. Like the project started like 3 years ago in a way. Like I started to work on it like around 2006 in Flash. Like the original code was made in ActionScript, and then when there was like a transition to HTML5, like I converted the code to JavaScript. And at the beginning, the very beginning, 2009, like actually the first render was using SVG, so it was creating an SVG image basically every frame and deleting everything and then creating everything again. It was fast enough to like get it, and also it was similar to what Flash kind of does, is all like extra. Then with the Canvas 2D, like a year later, like it seemed like more scalable way of doing it. And then like a year later, like, all these 3 years are all pretty, we just kept like changing from render to render. Like a year later, then we had WebGL, which really enabled like a proper way of like having the 3D on the web. And like even, like with Canvas and SVG, if like an object is behind another object, we didn't really have a way of knowing it. Like, you will have to sort everything, and like you will like polygons will pop all the time. So with WebGL, which allows you to GPU, like you can't do it all. They do not have to, everything will look like properly, except if it's transparent. And then about like last year, I think it was just when like WebGPU became like enable on Chrome. So now we're doing like, it's been like 12 years, but like now we're transitioning to WebGPU, which is basically a modern way of like doing 3D on the web. Like using like WebGL was based on OpenGL, which is like at the time was already pretty old. Like now WebGPU is based on Vulkan, Metal, and that is like, it's kind of a mix of whatever, like a mix of them, and trying to, and then they use that underneath. So for the last 4 years or so, we've been working, like doing like basically like a new render, like a WebGPU render. Mostly like by all these people doing like excellent work. And the idea is that what we want to do is to make it so whenever you like if you're working on a WebGL project using Three.js, it should just be like replacing the render they're using from WebGL render to WebGPU render. Like that's the goal. But the problem is that they're like, there's also the issue that like WebGPU right now is still not enabled in Safari, and still not enabled in Firefox. It's getting close to Safari. So for the time being, and we want like people to start using it, we had to add like a WebGL 2 fallback in the WebGPU render. So like people don't really know, but like sometimes like they get like WebGPU examples that are working on Safari, but it's actually underneath the evolution of WebGL 2. But whenever like Safari enables like WebGPU, then it's going to use the WebGPU part of the code. Eventually, this fallback is going to probably like 5 years, maybe 10 years, we'll be able to do it with it. But one of the problems that we have like from the current code is that if you're writing shaders, like WebGL has like GLSL and WebGPU has Weasel, we have done like, we'll show later, like we do have like a code for translating one language to the other one, but it's not very easy. So this is basically kind of like how it looks kind of different. So writing one shader, another shader, like in another shader language. So one of the proposals like from Sunak, from the project, like to create like yet another shading language. But in this case, like it's a JavaScript-based one that is able to generate one or the other one, depending on like if it's running on WebGL or if it's running on WebGPU, and it's also like node-based. So it also solves the problem that we had that people will want to use like materials from the project, but they will want to like it looks they will have a material that looks metallic something, and they have like some texture in it, but they want to be able to like hack the material to add something specific for the project. And the API that we had for it was pretty bad. Like it was basically you had these only for compile callback that whenever that material is going to be rendered before displaying it to the screen, you had a chance to like modify the shader, like modify some chunks in it from the strings, and you will have to basically know how internally all the materials look like. You will have to know how our code look like from the inside, and it was very fragile. Like we could change something for some reason, and your project will it's not going to break, but you have to like update it, and then you're going to tell into these kind of issues. So the new code is actually, for doing the same thing, like it looks like this. Instead of using mesh standard material, like we have a mesh node material. So these node materials have like new properties. So in this case, it's like the material color node. So in this case, all these new methods that we are like importing from TSL, those are actually like proxies. So whenever you execute them, it generates one string on the other screen. So for this case, we have a texture function because the color map that you can use for the color for the texture of the object, and then you can multiply detail, which is detail in this case is like another texture with another that has been like that has more repetition, so it creates more variety, visual variety into it. Like this code was doing exactly the same thing, but it's just way more like harder to understand and basically more fragile. This is what the API allows, the new API allows, and at the same time, like it's just much easier to it's much more versatile. Like we won't be able to break this. Like you can continue working on it. Like we may add like more functions to it, but the code will be very resilient from now on. So it does like JSL on whistle generation. For these, you can go to the examples. There is this editor that you can play with. So here we have like another like TSL example, which will be mostly like this part, where it's finding a texture, like it's saying like also like putting a name to it, like a label to this texture itself. And on the side, on the right side, you can see the way the whistle code that it generates. So you change. I wonder, actually haven't really tried this. Change my texture to somewhere. Let me see it. Oh, there you go. Right, isn't this case? But this is basically you can see if you're like working on TSL, you have a way of like finding the shader that you're doing, like, and you can see the code that it generates, and also you can also see the GLSL that it generates from it. This is something that still we're working on. We've been adding functions to it, but we are still we really think that it has a lot of potential. If you want to get like some GLSL code that you have, like we also have a transpiler. Pretty early days for it though, where basically you can copy, like you can paste the GLSL code that you have on the right side, and then on the right side is going to show you how the TSL code will look for it. So with this, we don't really have a lot of documentation for all these yet, but for now we're still working on it, and this is what people are like experimenting with. They basically use this tool for learn how it works. One of the big benefits from TSL is actually tree shaping. So before with WebGL render, with the previous renderer, all the materials for like standard and all the materials for lines and everything, all the shaders were inside WebGL renderer. So there was no way to, the way that I architected it, there was no way to not shape all these shaders that you're not using. Like with the new approach, like because you're like importing all these, like texture from TSL, or only the thing that you're actually using the material, and then mesh standard material is going to use also specific things from TSL. But if you're not displaying like points, for instance, on your website, you're not using like lines or like other shaders that we tend to bundle into the render. Like now we have enough. Now we finally will not be able to shape all that, and it's going to be much smaller builds. Another interesting feature that this enables is procedural gradients, basically, or like is one example that you can do. So in this color node, for this example, we can do like a vector, like vec4, which will be like color. So in this case, like red, green, blue, and then alpha. So this code basically does a red. It's going to make this, in this case, whatever object is going to make it red. You can still use the previous way, but like from here you just enable more things. So as an example, let's see if this works. We have, this is one of the new examples that we have for WebGPU. It's like a flocking birds simulation. But we originally we always had like with this white background, and what I was trying to like make it a little bit more appealing. So when I was trying to do it, when I looked into that, basically I realized that you can go like right now, like basically we need a sphere to have some sort of sky to it. So we put that there. We should see maybe a little bit hard to see. So now this sets at the base of the object we want to have as a sky. And I think it's using wireframe. Yeah, we disable this. And then it's going to be like all black probably. Yeah. But like here, in the color node, this is the color, this is what we define how we want it to look like. So we put it, only one is going to be used all red. But here we can make, for instance, this will be like writing CSL. So we make one, and we have these variables, or these, in a way, like objects. So position local is something that we know, it's something that you can use as a reference. It's going to be the y of the object, but in object space. So you can divide, or you can subtract position local y with 1, and then you're going to get like a gradient from top to bottom that it goes from like 0 red on top, and then kind of becomes a little whitish for tone mapping reasons, but like at the bottom you should use red. So if we start playing with that, what I ended up doing is just this will be the red, green, and the blue. Now we have like a more like complicated gradients that it will go to kind of emulates a little bit what the sky will do. If we apply also flux to it, and we rotate it to where the sun is supposed to be. We end up like having like some kind of like more, like we have a little bit more like they're not just like floating in the void. You have a general idea of like, oh, there's the sky and the sun is in that way, and the sky is kind of like where the sun is there and the sky is on the other side. And that way we avoid having to load any textures for this, like it's all generated in real time. And we can also like, if I thought we're using like barring here, it actually means that all this is only running in vertex, so the shader is not running on per pixel, it's just running per vertex, so it's way faster. Another thing that we can do with it will be the procedural textures. So it will be interesting, like the model we work on this, like to have like something like a npm package where you can like import, in this case, like it's an example like importing like a wood texture. So this is how like something will look like doing that. One of the benefits from doing procedural textures is that you can zoom into it and you're never going to see the pixels because it's being generated every frame at any resolution that you're looking at. And you, again, in order to like get this kind of like quality, you will have to load like an 8K texture or something like that, but you will eventually see the pixels. Like this is, because it doesn't matter how close you are, it's always going to look perfect. As a matter of fact, like Pavel is something that he's been working on. Like he has like he started again kind of a repository for textures. So you can go to that website and you can have like a bunch of, you can see like for instance like this protozoa, I want like to see how want to zoom into it, how it looks like, and then you wanted to use it. This one you want to use it like you basically import TSL texture protozoa from npm. And this is the parameters that you have to use, so you can play with it and you can get this kind of results. One of the things that WebGPU enables is like now we can just compute. For those of you that know compute basically allows us to use the GPU for the computations. Like up until now, like with WebGL, you could do that too, but basically you're using like a graphics API, like a pixel-based API. So you're drawing colors into a texture, and then you have another shade that is reading the colors. And like the computer allows it to like make it like more native into the GPU basically. So we still like developing that, but we do have like and explaining that is a little bit like longer. But like if you want to use like compute, we have this is the entry point and this one for that. So this is like one of the kind of things that you can do. Like we have like some examples of how to use it. We have this, and also Christopher Choco. I also have like some, especially there's a lot of like Python example kind of things you can do. Like this is not generated, like this is not being computed on the CPU, this is all on the GPU, like all pretty fast to execute. It saves a lot of battery. And also like Bruno Simon had like a lot of examples. So a couple months ago, he contributed a bunch of samples, the kind of thing that you can do now, like has this. How do I show you too? You can play with this thing for quite a while. So it's not only like you can modify geometry. You can use it a lot for particle simulation. So like this is where they start from. On every frame there's updating positions. For generating textures, so far I haven't seen something like that. Like people who are actually using it for that, but this is the kind of thing to not only for like examples of so people can use it, but also like for us to like we need like more examples to see that the kind of data that we're designing is something that is flexible enough for everything. And I do have like a dancing background where everything is generated. So for me, like this kind of things where we're generating everything and we don't have to download models or textures it makes me extra happy. For this last one, there was a this is not a Bruno one, but like Maeda Mameo. He used that one as a kind of like he played with the one that Bruno did, and like made it like this one, which is much more realistic. And again, this is it's a MacBook M1, and it's running like pretty well. And the last one that like Bruno did was just a copy example where the smoke is with the smoke geometry is also like being like twisted and generated, and also the texture itself it generates like using TSL. That's all. If you wanna continue, if you wanna like follow like more things, like see what people are doing with it, you can follow the project on Three.js on Twitter or on Blue Sky. Thank you very much.